Start to bend. I'm dehydrated, not warmed up, and I'm not as strong as I usually am. And and my energy levels are not as high. Not having vitamin C for a few days, but I'm pushing myself. My body feels weak and I feel exhausted right now, and I keep pushing. So see if I can maintain decent speed. Do some more short. 1, 2, 1. Power assist. 1. Diagonal cut from the right shoulder. Power assist. Back, uppercut. Knife fighting combo. 1. Power assist right. Your arm goes down here. You have to slide off the forehead or where you cut it. 1. Go down here. Just like this. 1. Your arm will go down here. And if it kind of, you bring it down here. 2. Your arm is down here. Uppercut. See? 1, 2, 3. Good combo for knife fighting. Aiming for the forehead. Slice like this. Or you can go for the neck, whatever. But this is your general target area. Slice across. Go down here. Power assist back. Your arm is down here now. Come up with uppercut. Okay? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. You can do without the power assist too. 1, 2, 3. This is a good combo to practice. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. You can alternate. Use the power assist or not use the power assist. This is what it looks like a normal cut. 1. You're down here. 2, 3. With the power assist. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. You can do it from here too, of course. You don't have to be like this. You can do it from here too. When I miss or slide off up here, then I come down. You want to be able to maintain cutting. First grip. You can also do this. You're moving in. You're intending to deliver a stab to the forehead, face, whatever, below the neck. And while you're moving in, sometimes you might as well cut on the way in. So in case there's an arm coming in front of you, the guy's going toward you, instead of doing this, I'm going for a stab, like this, to the forehead, or face, or neck. And I could do it like this, and move in, but I can also come up with this uppercut like this. See? So when I'm moving in, to deliver this stab, I might as well, from the hip, do this and then turn it into the stab. There's another guy here, it's a little bit out of range. And if I'm doing this and this, it's easier to see what's coming. And I'm also using an unnecessary movement of going up here and then here. I might as well stab on the way in, not stab, cut up on the way in. See? So start from this range. As you can see, I'm moving like this. Stabbing like this. You can also cut up and turn it into stab. I'm not going to be doing any more of that. Just remember I have a cut on my right hand from practice before. Not a cut from a blade, but from punching things. You can get cuts on your skin from hitting things. You get the skin, so I'm not going to do anything hitting with my hand. I don't want to open up the cutting. I'm just going to do some free flow practice. Not saying like practicing the 1, 2. Actually, let's do a little bit of that 1, 2. So then I'll do free flowing practice. I do some light practice. 1, 2, 3. There's a palm strike followed up by an uppercut from this position. Can be useful to train. Yes, palm strike, and then follow up by uppercut. Have your knife concealed, something like this. Palm strike, like a boxing jab, kind of only hitting with the palm, and then following up with an uppercut. Alright, I think that will be it. Do a little bit shadow boxing type stuff. That's what I call anything. Because I look at boxing sometimes and I think about how boxers do things. And that transfers to knife fighting, knife martial arts. It's like, how do boxers get better at boxing? They don't only do shadow boxing to get better at boxing. They don't only do hitting bags. They do all these things. Shadow boxing. They do sparring. They do shadow boxing. They do hit different types of bags, speed bags, heavy bags. So if you want to get better at knife fighting, look at what boxers do to get better at boxing. And a lot of things in boxing transfer to knife fighting. It's like they have a jab, that's a stab with a light knife in the left. If you have two knives, one big, one small, one light in this left, and this is a machete or a baton or whatever it is, you have the quick jab, the quick quote-unquote jab, knife fighting jab, quick. And you can not obviously it's not only this. You can attack with this a lot of ways. Okay, but it's similar. It's like you have the left here, you have this stance, left leg forward, right leg back. This is ready. And you can stab like this to the body, whatever, all the way up to the face. You can cut with this. You can cut. Stab. You can cut. You can stab to the body, whatever. You don't have to go in with it, of course. So you go to boom, and then more powerful with the right. So yeah, that's if you want to get better at knife fighting and you're solo training at home, look at what boxers do. You don't only want to do like shadow boxing type stuff. What I call anything I do, it's not actually hitting something. I call it shadow boxing. So this is stick fighting shadow boxing. I'm not hitting this thing. And if I use a knife, that's knife fighting shadow boxing. This is kind of bent out of shape. See if we can bend it a little bit straighter. Yeah, a little bit. Do some of this. And you don't need a heavy baton. If it's hard, you can, speed equals power. It's like a 9mm versus 45. Both deliver impact, like meaningful impact on target. A 9mm is a lighter, faster bullet, and a 45 is a slower, heavy bullet. And both deliver a lot of energy when they hit. One because it's moving so fast, even though it's lighter, and the other because it's so heavy and not moving really fast, but it's heavier. See, same thing with blades. You can have like a really heavy, big stick, or you can have a light stick that's light, and if you move that fast enough, you generate a lot of force. Now this is a little bit too light. If I was this for training, but if I was going to use something as a weapon, I mean, you could use it as a weapon. This would hurt somebody if you hit them in the skull with it, but it's very light. It's just a steel tube, metal tube. It's very thin, very light. And if you want to start using sticks, get a light stick first. If you get like a collapsible baton, you want to practice using a collapsible baton, your wrist might not be strong enough to wield this. You can hurt yourself. If you have a collapsible baton, like a police baton, and that's kind of heavy, like hard steel and stuff. If you start swinging this, generate a lot of force. You could injure your wrist, like your elbow, like fingers, everything. You can create wear and tear on your body. That's unnecessary. So a good way to build up your strength for using something heavier is to use something lighter, like this. It's very light. And you can practice using this and moving it around, and you will build up your wrist, and you will build up your fingers. You will strengthen yourself for using something heavier. It's like working out, bodybuilding. You don't start with like 20 kilo bicep curls. You might start with 5 kilo dumbbells, bicep curls, and then after a while we go to 10 or 15 or whatever. So let's do some of the baton. I'll actually hit it a few times. Get a little bit more up. I'll do just 3 of these. As you can see, you can generate a lot of force with something light. If this would hit somebody's head, even though this is very, very light, it's so light, I don't know how I can show it like this. I don't know how many grams, but this is like very light. But you can still generate a lot of force with it. Because it's so light, and if you move it fast, there's a lot of energy. It's like a 9mm versus a 45. And this, with sticks, obviously, if you have a steel pipe or stick, and you use this guard, from here, you can hit like this too, like to the forehead, nose, jaw, wherever, mouth, wherever, to the face, basically. You can hit like this with the bottom of it. You can hit with the bottom of it. You don't have to do this. you can hit with it like this, at the bottom. You can do the same thing with a knife. Like a knife like this, you can hit with the bottom. You're holding it, and if you don't want to swing it wildly, you can hit like short, go like this. I can go like this, or like this, but I can also quickly just throw it out there, the bottom of it. So, do a little bit more of this. Boom. And with a collapsible baton, sometimes if you train with a stick like this, sometimes when I've trained with a stick like this, I'm thinking that it's a machete. And then I'm wielding it as if it's a machete. And sometimes I wield it as if it was a baton. Blunt force trauma versus cutting, okay? And there's differences. If you're cutting with a machete, you're kind of slicing into it. And you're not always wanting to deliver straight force. Like this, for example. Like this. You're wanting to do this a lot of times. You're hitting it maybe like this, and you push and pull it. Understand? Like this. And you're like pulling on it. You're connecting, you're pulling and pushing. With batons, you want to deliver more, not this sliding thing. If someone has their hand up here in the guard, and I want to hit their hand with a baton, I'm not aiming to like hit it and then pull down on it, because I'm not cutting, I'm hitting. And you want to hit like a hammer then. So this black would be the tip of a collapsible baton, for example. And if this is a collapsible baton, I don't want to hit here like I might want to do with a machete, like in the middle, hit in the middle, and then pull through. I want to hit with the end of it. This black part of it. And you want to apply like force, so you hit it like a hammer. So you're not like sliding it, stuff like this. So it would be like this, for example. And I'm hitting it like a hammer with the end of it. And the way the Swedish police are trained in using batons, people who use this weapon professionally, they're not trained to, they're not allowed to, like they're told not to put the baton, like charge it from over the head. You're not supposed to hit it from over the head like this, because that could be fatal. The baton, classic baton, is not intended to be used as a lethal weapon. If they need to have lethal force, they have their pistol, or they have their pistol. So a baton is something you use to like subdue somebody, and it's not used to kill people. They have the gun for that. So if they haven't changed it, the way that they train you to use it, the cops, they don't hit like this. Because if a hardened steel baton hits the top of your skull, it can crush the skull, and that's a fatal injury, potentially a fatal injury. But they're hitting below the head. They're never aiming for the head, they're hitting below the head. And I think a lot of times they target things like knees, elbows, things like this. And a baton can be a good weapon, if a lethal weapon. But if you're not a police officer, I'm not a cop, and I don't have to play by those rules. So why? Because I'm not out policing things. If I have a baton, it's for self-defense. And if somebody's, if I need to use it, I might need to use lethal force. Yeah, so if you want to kill with a baton, like for a steel baton, you can do the opposite of how the cops are trained. Like here's the skull, I'm holding like this, and I can, like I said, I can hit with the button, depending on what type of baton it is. Some of them, if you do this, it might slide down. See, if you hit something really hard like a wall, you might collapse the baton, depending on the type of baton. If you have like a cheap wish baton or something, if you hit with the bottom of it, it doesn't have good loft, you might slide into the handle again, which might not be a big problem. If it's like this, then it slides in, you can go redeploy it and then hit with it again. So if you want to use the baton as a lethal weapon, you do the opposite of how Swedish police are trained. Like not hit from above the head and not hit the head. We can target the head to deliver lethal blows with the baton. You can break the skull. You can hit from the side or from the top. And from this, if somebody has their hands like this, it's easy to hit them. Or if they have a guard, it's not like super tight, and they go up like this or like this. I would rather take like a baton strike from above like this than right in my head. So if the moment presents itself from this is a good stance with the baton. You can rest it on your shoulders. You can also have it like this. You can rest it on your shoulder. And from here, you can like I say, you can do this. If somebody gets close to you really quick, and you're not really close enough to generate a lot of force, type of force that you want, it can be better to hit with the bottom of it. If I'm far away, for whatever reason I'm looking, for whatever reason the person can move really close to me, and I'm not really close enough where I feel like I can generate a lot of force with this baton. You need some distance from the baton. And if they move really close, doing this can be better. See, hitting with the bottom of it, depending on what type of baton it is. So if somebody moves close to me, let's say somebody jumps to me or whatever, if you're not you're hitting them and stuff, whatever, and they quickly move forward to you, and suddenly they're in, you don't have to step back, so suddenly they're really close to you. This can be a good attack. They're really close to you. You don't have the distance to generate this. Of course, you can move back and hit, and now you have the space to swing it, but they can also be driving forward. You see, like they're moving into you. And you quickly need to hit them, and you can hit it like this, like aim for the head with the bottom baton like this. And this is a good style. I like this stance for wielding baton, sticks, things like this. And obviously you can hit like this. You can hit to the body, you can hit to the legs. And some people like to keep more control all the time, like this. And only hit like this from the shoulder, kind of straight from the shoulder, like this. And you can do it different ways. You can keep it like short and tight, and like this, like hit the homemade do-it-yourself sound effect. You can hit like this, okay, or straight, or from the side, more like short, and using your arm more, your arm and shoulder. But you can also generate a lot of force, as in all things, by doing other things. If you have a sword or something, this motion can generate a lot of force. This, turning around and then cutting. You're building up momentum here, and cut it like that. That's not always good for batons, but that's something you can do with a sword. And it's kind of wielding one-handed. You might not deliver very fast, powerful strikes with this sword. And one way to generate a lot of force, cutting force, is to do this. But that's more a technique that's more suited a lot of time for something big, like a longer, like a sword or a longer stick, a longer heavy stick or something. So like this. See? That. And if it's a solid stick, you can poke with it. If it's a solid stick, you can poke with it. Not with a collapsed baton, obviously. But if it's a solid stick, you can poke with it. Yeah, I think that's gonna be it. And I got some good training today, so I'm sweating like a pig. And I'm happy with this workout. When I started out today, I've been out of vitamin C for a few days, and feeling a little bit run down. My energy levels hasn't been as high as they ought to be, as they normally are. And I was also dehydrated before I started working out, and slightly dehydrated. And yeah, but I still did a workout. My philosophy is this: it's good to train. You don't want to train at your best all the time, but I only train when I feel sharp, high energy. I'm very warmed up and fluid, and I feel ready to go. Ready to go. You also want to train for when you're at your worst, because maybe if in a situation you need to have force, maybe you're sleeping and suddenly you need to, and you're not warmed up, you're not loosening your body, it's dark, things like this. You don't want to, well, I only train perfect lighting, warmed up, well hydrated, then that's your experience. You're used to fighting while being hydrated, while being warmed up, while having good lighting. So if something changes, it's a little bit unknown. I hope you get what I'm saying. It can be useful to practice under circumstances that are suboptimal, because you might need to use the skills you're developing in suboptimal conditions. If you're sick, if you're tired, if it's dark, if you're stiff and cold, dehydrated, whatever. Within limits, of course. Yeah, so I think that's gonna be it. and I had a good time. Good training. Practice makes better. Practice makes better. Another day, another victory. Set a goal, practice, and I succeed. Another victory. That's gonna be the other life stream. Take care of yourself, and blessed be the Lord my strength, which teacheth my fingers to fight and my hands to war. Psalm 144. I credit God for getting better in martial arts. I'm not saying I'm the best. I'm saying I've been getting better, and I give credit to God for having gotten better. There was a point in time where I couldn't carry a coffee cup from my kitchen to my living room without dropping it. So if in a week I go make coffee in the kitchen and I go to the couch I had here or where I'm going, in a week maybe it'll be 3 times or more that I would like drop the coffee cup because my coordination, my balance was so bad due to autism and brain inflammation, being clumsy. And going from that to having good coordination, good balance, that's improvement, and I credit God for helping me get better at fighting. Not the best, not the best at everything, super good. I'm saying I got him better, and I credit God. I credit God for that. All right, that's gonna be the end of the video. I think I'll do some. Quick shadow boxing. I got a second win. I started feeling a bit tired and I got a second win. One decisive cut, one effective cut can end the fight and terminate your opponent. One stab penetrated by the organ. In knife fighting, this is boxing, as they say, is the art of hitting and not getting hit. That's why a lot of people do a lot of sparring, too much sparring, so the martial arts with sticks and stuff. They get comfortable to getting too close to each other. And I don't think they will be fighting like this in real life and death. A lot of times in sparring, I've read something about this recently, somebody gave their opinion, I agree on that. A lot of people do a lot of stick sparring and knife sparring. They get like comfortable with getting close to their opponent because it's not real. They're not getting cut, they're not getting pain, they're not getting hurt sparring. And they get comfortable, and their muscle memory and how they move in a fight, how they're training, is to be comfortable with getting close and things like this. So in knife fights, my philosophy is keep your distance. It's like if you're in a knife fight, which not what happens often, but if you're in a fight, the other guy has a knife, you have a knife. Okay. You want to deliver something, get out of the way, he's bleeding now, he's losing his life by the second. Okay, and then you're waiting, okay, he's moving close, move out of the way, circle around, so you're focusing on hitting, not getting hit. It's not just running to the guy and deliver as many stabs as possible, because you like to get stabbed too. So my philosophy in knife fighting, or my style, is keep my distance and being careful. And when I'm sparring, it's something I haven't done a huge amount of. It's hard to find sparring partners in Sweden, in my situation. But something I focus on is like I'm putting myself in the mind that this is real. Like, I really don't want to get hit by this, more or less. Now sometimes I loosen up a little bit, but keep your distance. And yeah, you don't really want to get too close. If you're close enough to hit the other person, they're close enough to hit you. And even amateurs can be lethal with knives. People haven't practiced, they're not really athletic. It's pretty straightforward. If somebody's close enough to have a knife in their hand, they just have to put their hand to you, touch you. They don't have that perfect technique. They don't have to like know the right angle to attack. If you're close enough, they can just push their hand into you, and they've got you. I thought about this recently actually. It was a sword fighter called Miyamoto Musashi. and he's credited with having won over, I don't know, remember right now, if it's 20 or 40 or 60 or 120, there's some kind of impressive number of sword fights to the death. And I've looked at his book, the Book of Five Rings. There's some useful stuff in there. If you're into fighting with blades, small blades, knives, or swords, machetes, whatever. And I thought about this. I wonder what would happen if they'd be knife fights. I think that it would be harder for him to survive and win all these fights if it had been with knives. That's what I think. I thought about this. I'll tell you why. Because if you have a sword, a katana, you have range, like around a meter. Okay, this blade, like from here, I can reach a meter away from me. So if you're Miyamoto Musashi and you have a sword, and you're in a sword duel, then you have a lot of experience with that. And the other guy, you have experience, like you know, you can see, like a pro boxer, if I try to throw punches at them, they would see it coming, because they're better than me. They have more experience sparring and seeing punches coming at them, knowing what to do and stuff. So if I'm sparring like a pro boxer, some punches I throw might work well in amateur, but someone's like a pro boxer, if I throw like a punch, I throw a powerful punch, it's like he knows it's coming. He's seen this coming so many times in sport and competition, and he's so much better that I'm unlikely to land this. I might land on someone who's slower, not as good at boxing stuff. This punch might be likely to land, but on someone who's a pro, they've been in sport, they've seen this type of punch coming so many times. It's in their muscle memory. They know how to not be hit by this thing, however that is. And I think the same thing with Musashi. He had so much experience in fighting, which is different from sparring, but he had so much experience in fighting, like actual fights to the death with swords, that he probably knew. Like, let's say they're in the duel, and the other guy is going to throw a certain thing, like a cut like this, for example, and he knows what to do. It can be very simple to win that fight. He moves out of range, steps in, and counters. So you have a sword like this, and he's more experienced. He's been in fights. He's seen people throw this attack many times, and he knows how to not get hit by it. He has more experience than his opponent. And most people have long swords, and the difference between knives is you have to get close. So it's easy for an amateur to hurt somebody, even if you're better than that. If you're close enough and you stay close, and you stab them, I can reach them, they can reach me. It's very simple. It's very easy because you're so close. With a sword, there's more margins because you have more range. So it's easier. Like the guy throws a cut like this, let's say, going from my head. He's seen this coming many times, and he knows how to not get hit by that, like move back quickly or whatever, maybe even a block, I don't know, and then quickly moves in and counters him, and the guy is dead. In knife fighting, you're going to attack you so close, so I have to get really close to them to touch them with my knife. If both people have knives, if you get really close to them, there's different margins. If you're really close to somebody, you don't have to be very good. It's very easy to hit something when you're close to it. It's very easy to hit something, and it's very quick. There's very little time to react. If you're close to somebody, then boom. You have more time to react if it's this. See, than if it's this. So I thought about that. I wonder what would happen if the Musashi's fights, duels, had been with knives instead of swords. And these are some of the thoughts that I thought about. That maybe he wouldn't have won. Maybe he wouldn't have survived. Let's say it was 60 duels to the death with swords that he won. I don't know exactly. If it was with knives, maybe he would have won them. Maybe he would have died or gotten injured. I don't know. One thing to the other. Yeah, so my philosophy is staying far away. I've seen some videos of knife fighting sharp knives. And there's a video on YouTube, and they talk about knife fighting. And first they have two guys, they give them some kind of training knives, foam I think, or plastic, rubber, whatever, and they're gonna spar with each other. and they fight a certain way when they're sparring. And then they give them shock knives. And they give you an electric shock, and you can tell how they're completely different. They're not as bold and getting as close to each other and reckless and like moving in. Oh, I got cut in the arm. They're not doing that anymore. Once they change the knives to shock knives, now they're worried about getting hit. Now they're more cautious and keep the distance and not engaging as much. And that's more realistic to a knife fight, because you don't really want to die. You don't want to get hit, you don't want to get cut. So you can get injured by sparring, so to speak. Injured in the sense of you can pick up bad habits. If you spar a lot, and you have like sticks, you get close to each other, and you're blocking and stuff, and you're focusing more on blocking things, getting out of the way and keeping the distance, and waiting for the opponent to strike once, and then you go out of the way again. And if you're more like comfortable with getting close and like blocking and stuff like this all the time, staying close to each other, I'm going to block you close and block you close and block you close and block you close, and all of this, that can have bad effects for you. That can have bad effects for you. So training can actually make it worse than martial arts if you train a certain way. Training can make it worse. You can get comfortable with things that you wouldn't want to do in real life. And like I said, my philosophy is keep your distance. Keep your distance. Folks are not getting hit. I see somebody come like a straight stab, like a pencil. Move out of the way and cut, for example. Folks are not getting hit. Straight stab coming here. Try to move out of the way and cut at the same time, for example, or like counter, or somebody's moving towards me with a stab or whatever they're doing. If it's a stab, I might be able to do this. I see a stab coming to my midsection down here, and I might be able to jump back, moving out of range, and countering as the person's coming in. Like that, for example. That's a good technique. Somebody's moving towards me like this, they're going for my gut or something. If I see that coming, and I move back, like jumping back and countering, and ultimately I will connect and deliver a stab to the person without having stabbed. Now he's bleeding, the clock is ticking. Now the clock is ticking. Another thing I thought about is this. I've been practicing with my mother, and showing her that you can catch incoming things. But that's more of like a last defense. That's more like a last defense. You don't get close to your opponent and then I'm just gonna catch everything coming in. But it's like something that's good to have some muscle memory for. Being able to connect with an arm that is moving towards you. If somebody, whatever attack, somebody does this, for example, like this, and if I can move to the side and touch at the same time, it might not completely, he might not lose his knife or something. Even if he connects, if he goes for a stab or a slash rather like this, I see that coming and I block it or I move out and I'm able to cut. Even if he connects, at least I cut him too. At least he's also cut. See what I'm saying? So if that's a good ability to have to practice that, catching things coming in. So if somebody throws something at you, they might connect. But if you somebody throws something here, if I have good reaction time and I do this, it might not be 100% keep me from getting cut. It might not be 100%, it might still connect if he throws it fast and hard like this. There's so much momentum going there that even if I do this and I'm fast enough, even if I do this, for example, that might not be enough this to throw his arm out of the way and make him miss the incoming stab. And he might still connect with me. But it's better if he's gonna connect anyway. Now he's also bleeding from his arm. That's better. If he stabs me in the gut, I got a cut here. If I don't know how to do this, if I don't even try, if I don't know how to do this, or I haven't trained catch things coming in, I'm not fast enough at things like this, and I'm not accurate enough, and I'm in a fight and somebody throws something to me, and let's say it connects, okay, now I'm stabbed in the gut, he's not injured, I'm bleeding, I'm getting weaker by the second, and I might die soon, okay? So I look at like the old-time video games, like Tekken. You're fighting, there's a red bar on top, okay, both guys, and a bar with something red in it, and when it goes to the bottom, you win. Similar to knife fights. Blood loss, you will lose consciousness when you lose enough blood, and you will die eventually. So, what is my point? My point is this. If you're gonna get cut, it's better if the other guy also get cut. So I'm not saying, well, I'm practicing catching things coming in. Like if I see this coming, for example, or this, for example, or this, and I practice moving to the side and hitting the arm, I'm not saying, well, I'm confident that every time nobody can hit with a knife, because I will be able to hit it every time and knock it out of the way or something. But it's still useful, even if I don't. Like even if he connects with me, if I'm able to cut him, it's better. If I'm cut, he's also cut. Then if I'm cut, he's not cut. See what I'm saying? You have to move away and keep your distance. Yes, those are some random thoughts about knife fighting. Keeping your distance. Keep your distance, keep your distance. Waiting for an opportunity to strike. Not being too bold and moving forward. Not more necessary, not being reckless. But being ready to strike, being ready to counter things coming in, being ready to move to the sides, being ready to move back, okay? Or whatever, like being ready to move out of range, move to the side, get out of the way, and also ready to counter and do different things. So yeah, that's how I think about knife fighting. Not like moving into the guy and putting a lot of attack. Oh, I also got stabbed. See what I'm saying? That will happen. If somebody has a knife, and in real life fights, I've seen this happen. I've seen on YouTube in real life fights. They won't be like the guys in sparring. You get close to each other all the time, and they like get close and kind of block each other and things. They'll keep the distance, kind of circle each other. People keep the distance, circle each other, and then they will like launch things at each other. Somebody will move in and try to get a stab, and sometimes they will get caught moving in. So somebody will move in to stab, and the other guy will slash at his arm, and sometimes he doesn't hit with his stab, but the guy who tried to throw the attack is slashed with his arm. That's good in knife fight. So that's something that's used for practice. That's something that happens in real knife fights when people fight each other with knives. They keep the distance, they kind of circle each other, they're looking for an opportunity to strike. If one guy's arm is close, they might go for that. So they're looking for an opportunity to strike something. The guy moves closer, might throw a jab, a stab, or whatever. Somebody gets cut, now he's losing the fight. You get a cut, you're bleeding, you're losing power, the life is in the blood. Your life is in your blood. If you lose enough blood, you lose your life. So, yeah, you want to cause blood loss and not suffer blood loss. Knife fighting boils down. You want to kill your opponent, not be killed by your opponent. You want to get hit. You want to hit and not get hit. You want to cause blood loss and not suffer blood loss. The less cuts you get, the better. And a lot of times it's better to go running than to run into a person. Yes, that's useful. That is absolutely useful to practice. In sparring, practice when you spar, catch arms coming in. That's a good thing to practice. Practice like somebody throws this at you or this at you, how they're attacking. Practice not getting hit by this and trying to hit the arm or the hand, whatever, hitting something. So and get used to that from different angles. A lot of people attack like this. This is common, this is kind of natural, this motion, or just straight stabs and stuff. A lot of people like to do this. Just practice cutting what's coming at you. If this is coming, cutting and moving back, and you can even throw in your stomach. If you're here and a stab comes, I can do this, and also at the same time I can throw out my hand. If I'm lucky, I might connect with something. If somebody throws a stab, I got him for this, for example. I'm not being hit, I didn't get hit, and I hit him in the head. So countering, not being hit, being elusive, and yeah, that's a good thing to train if you have a sparring partner. Get rubber training, not for sparring. Rubber is better than steel for sparring. This is a rubber knife. I have a hard plastic training knife, and what I like about that is I can test. I wrote a comment on my YouTube channel, Mike's Martial Arts, recently, where I watched all this about somebody wrote about training. He suggests, he wrote, just get a piece of cardboard and write some target zones. So he gave me a suggestion. He wrote something like, just get a piece of cardboard and paint things on it and practice hitting it. I've done that. I've done it many times. Used cardboard. And what I wrote in the comment was, that can be good. It's not useless to use cardboard in training. It's not useless. It could be good to have a piece of cardboard and then I paint a black dot here, black dot here, black dot here, and I'm practicing my precision in hitting this circle, these different circles. That can be good for precision, but it's not all you want to do. And I've done things like this in training. I have many videos from the past where I'm practicing cutting cardboard, or where I paint things with cardboard. I actually have a video on the same channel where I put cardboard on this bed and then I painted lines on it. And the lines are horizontal, and the blade is like this, and I'm trying to hit it, like match up, line up the holes. So if it's a horizontal line, I'm trying to create a horizontal line within the horizontal line for precision training. But that's not the best way to practice. And I wrote that in a comment. So yeah, someone wrote a comment, let's talk a little about that. Someone wrote a comment, just get a piece of cardboard and write some target zones on it and you practice hitting it. I've done that. I've done a lot of that actually. I've done that a lot. Cutting cardboard, stabbing cardboard. I've done that in training. And I actually have a video doing that before I wrote the comment. Maybe you didn't check the video, but I have a short video on my channel where I am doing exactly that, where I painted things on cardboard and I'm stabbing it, practicing. So sometimes you get advice to do something you've already done, but you're already doing. Anyway, here's the point. And actually, something not only sometimes you get advice to do something you're already doing. You'll be like someone say, Mike, start taking vitamin C. You say, wow, you must have not have watched my other videos. And sometimes you get advice to do something you have been doing in the past, and then you realize this is not very good to do, and I'm moving on to other things. Cardboard is something that can be useful, like I said, for practicing precision. Let's say this was the board here. This is a big board, and I'm practicing my precision. Let's say these white dots here were on cardboard, and I'm aiming at a specific dot. This dot here, next to the point of this knife. This is cardboard. I can practice hitting that dot, and then I look how close was it to what I was aiming at. 1 centimeter off. Not good enough. Well, it can be better. Not bullseye, but close. So yeah, for precision, hand-eye coordination, practicing hitting a certain thing, it's not useless, but it's better to have something like a bottle swinging. That's better. To have a bottle swinging, and then practice hitting that. First of all, it's harder to do. It's harder to hit a moving target than a static target. So it's better precision and accuracy training. Stabbing a bottle is very hard if it's moving, and practicing slashing it. If you're practicing, I wrote that too, you're not practicing fighting cardboard. If you're practicing knife in martial arts, knife fighting, you're not practicing to get better at defending yourself against cardboard boxes attacking you. Somebody coming and throwing empty cardboard boxes at you, and you're gonna stab this and cut this. That's not what you're likely to be fighting. My point is this, it's better to get a bottle or one of these tennis balls, like I've been practicing with, hang it from something, and practice hitting that with stabs. Practice hitting that with stabs and slashes, because it's something moving. A target, if you're fighting somebody, they're unlikely to be a static target. Like if somebody breaks into your house and you need to fight this guy, and what you have at hand or what you prefer to use is a knife. They're unlikely to stand there and no, they're going to be moving around. That's what people do in fights. Their head is moving. You might have a guard up there. They're moving around. They're not going to be a static target. They're moving at you. They might be moving to the sides. So you're not going to be attacking something a static target. So you're practicing for getting better at what you want to get better at. You want to get better at hitting human heads with stabs and slashes. Not only heads, of course. then what does a human head do? Does it just stand there still, and whatever I do is just standing still? No, it's going to be moving around. Therefore, it's good to mix up the training and have something like a board, like I recommend, a plastic water bottle, hang it from the roof, or whatever you hang it on. Have training knives, not real knives, and you move around and you practice hitting this, cutting this. And when you hit it once with a slash, it's going to go flying, and now it's coming at you, which will give you training in hitting an arm coming at you. That could be an arm. This bottle could be an arm with a knife coming at you. Understand? And that gives you training. First you're hitting something that's moving and swinging around, which means you're getting better at hitting a head that's moving around. Understand? Something that's moving. You're getting better at hitting something that's moving. It will improve your timing too. A static target doesn't improve your timing. If this is here, it's always at the same range. So it does nothing for my reaction time, my timing, my precision, really. It's not a really good way to build timing, precision, accuracy. Because starting out, yes, you can use a static target. Starting out, like step one, yeah, you can get cardboard, hit different things, and you can even use it even if you're not a beginner. If you're good at knife fighting, as I am, you can still use it. If you built up your skill level to good precision, and there are like different parts to make you a better knife fighter. Some things that make you a better knife fighter is being precise with a knife, being able to hit what you want to hit. A small object, like an arm, or stabbing to the neck, the head, okay? And being able to hit things that are moving, something as a head or smaller than a head. A plastic water bottle, so she said it's smaller than a head, and it moves faster than a head, and it moves in very unpredictable ways. So that's something that is important. That's one thing that makes you better at knife fighting. Being fast, first of all. Being fast, how do you say it? Being fast, that makes you a better knife fighter. Being precise makes you a better knife fighter. Being able to hit what you want to hit. Having good reflexes, reaction time, makes you a better knife fighter. Having good timing makes you a better knife fighter. And all of these aspects of getting better knife fighting is something you can train by something simple. Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. By getting a plastic bottle, a simple plastic bottle like this, tie a string around it up here, and hang it from the ceiling. If you have a hook used for hang up a light or something, you can use that. And then you have a clear space around it, and you're practicing cutting it, and you're moving around. Right? You hit it once, it's gonna go flying away from you. And then you're ready to catch something coming in. What's that? It's like somebody moving closer to you. Something's coming towards you. Or if you want to be able to hit an arm or a hand that's throwing punches, or I don't know, they're coming at you with a stick like this, whatever. You're getting better at hitting things that are coming at you. Could be stabs, could be punches, could be anything. A head is getting closer to you. You're getting better at that. Kicks, even. You can, any limb you can attack. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's not impossible. So that's a way to get better. That's a better way to use the cardboard. And also, another thing about cardboard, why that's not a good way to train. Not the optimal. In fact, that's what I'm going to do to get better knife fighting. Stab cardboard. Another thing is the resistance. It's not giving resistance. You're not practicing fighting cardboard. If you have a thin cardboard thing, it's not going to offer a lot of resistance, which means I'm going to be able to stab this with bad technique. I can stab cardboard with bad technique and feel like I'm having good technique because it doesn't give enough resistance. This is cardboard. I can stab it with a plastic knife. Right, okay. There you go. And maybe that worked on cardboard. Well, let's say my technique was bad, my grip, the way I did, whatever. And I'm like, oh, it feels good. I mean, I can stab this cardboard. It's not a lot of resistance. It's very easy to penetrate paper cardboard with a knife, especially if it's a real sharp knife. Even with a plastic knife, it's not really hard. And now I feel like I've been practicing cutting cardboard, slicing cardboard, and stabbing cardboard. I can really cut. I feel like I've been practicing my technique in cutting cardboard and stabbing. Then you get in a real fight, and then you discover hitting a human skull that, oh, my grip was bad. You connect once, you hit, your knife goes out of your hand. That's not the time where you discover that your grip and your technique is bad. It could be anything from not having a good angle of your attack. So where you haven't practiced actually hitting things from the right angle. So you connect it with this broad side of the blade, the non-cutting side, like you're hitting like this. And it can be subtle. It doesn't have to be like a lot of a bad angle, because there's like torque. There's torque power. So if you hit like this, instead of hitting like this, straight with the edge, if I hit like this, just a little bit off angle, you're creating rotation force inside the grip, inside the hand. And if the faster, the more powerful your attack is, the more energy, bad energy, so to speak, bad type of energy you're creating inside of your grip, and it makes it easier to lose your knife. And you're not going to notice if your wrists are strong enough. I need to work my wrist, because when I hit hard things, this is wood, for example, a hard plastic knife, and I can hit that. I can even stab that, and I'm not. My wrist is not bending. If I had a really weak wrist and I hit something hard, my wrist might bend. And if that happened, if I want to be practicing cardboard, I'm not gonna, like, this is why I recommend the way that I train. The way that I train to get better knife fighting is the way to get better knife fighting. Sparring, plastic bottles, hitting plastic bottles, hitting hard things with plastic training knives or rubber training knives. All the things I've been doing, that's a good way. Good way. If you want to get better knife fighting, if you do everything I'm doing, that's a good way to get better knife fighting. I'm not saying there's nothing I'm not showing that I'm doing. Like, there's nothing I'm not doing that will make you better. But yeah, if you follow what I've been doing, you will get better knife fighting. It's like the way to get better knife fighting. You can find it by looking at what I've been doing. Past, present, future. So yeah, like I was talking about cardboard. Let's keep talking about cardboard. If I'm just stabbing a piece of cardboard or hitting it, it's not resistance. So cardboard, I could hit with a weak wrist, weak grip, not clutching the knife hard enough, or having it in the wrong way, or attacking a weird angle when I'm stabbing it, whatever. That works on cardboard, and I practice a lot of times, so I think I'm getting better at knife fighting, and you're getting better in a way. Maybe actually gets better. But then if you really attack something, like a human body that has bone, which is similar in hardness, the human skull is similar in hardness to this wood here. So if I can stab this, I can expect to be able to stab a human skull. And if the grip holds on this, I can expect to hold if I stab into somebody's ribs or somebody's leg and hit bone, something like this. Because it's offering similar resistance. And some of you go, well, it's got springs behind it, so it gives. Yeah, a head gives too. If I stab somebody in the head with this, it's gonna push their head. Either they're gonna move back, or the attack itself will also push their head back. Just like if you punch somebody in the head, it will push their head. So that this also giving that. This giving a human body in the head, if you get it. So yeah, this is a good way to train, not all the time, and you want to be careful. If you have weak hands, weak wrists, you can hurt yourself. You can get pain in the wrists, your finger, you can hurt yourself if you do this. You can hurt your fingers, you can hurt your wrists. You want to start easy, like low intensity, if you want to start doing this. But this is good to do. I can practice actually stabbing things. And since I can hit that hard with this hard plastic knife, it's actually easier with a real knife. There's less resistance with a real knife. First of all, it's steel. and it's sharper, so it will slide through things easier. Yeah, so that tells me I could stab somebody in the ribs and not lose the knife. If I can do this to the wooden board, I know with Frederick asserted that I could stab somebody, and if I hit the ribs, holding the knife the same grip, the same way, same angle, if I hit somebody in the ribs, I can have a fair degree of confidence that my grip will hold. Because I tested hitting hard things with a hard plastic trimming knife, stabbing things, different angles, like the same angles that I use when doing shadow boxing or sparring. I'm using the same, I'm attacking something with the same angle, something hard like this, stabbing it, hitting it hard, and I'm not losing my grip. It doesn't go flying out of my hand. And that tells me, okay, I have a good grip, I'm not doing something where I'm not hitting from the wrong angle, from the side, for example, turn the knife out of hand. That's not going to get exposed, where you need to improve if you're attacking cardboard. The way that I train, I figure I need to do things that expose weaknesses. Like if there's something I'm doing wrong, I have to find ways to do that. Starting out, I did a lot of hitting cardboard, paper stuff, and I figured, I need to start adding things to offer more resistance, because it's different from hitting paper or cardboard. It's very different than human head. So if I'm going to hit this and I want to cut across the forehead, there's bone. There's less than 1 centimeter under the skin, there's bone. So pretty much as soon as I'm connecting with bone. And there's resistance there. So if I've been practicing cardboard, it's very easy to cut cardboard with a sharp knife, like a real knife, which I don't recommend you to train with. Especially not if you're a beginner. It's very easy to cut at this angle and cut cardboard. But if I do the same technique, cut the same angle, and I hit a human head, obviously it's not offering as much resistance. It would be like if you want to get better at boxing, and I start doing shadow boxing, and that's all I'm doing. And then I get a pillow, a light pillow, and put it in the bag like this. It's like less than 1 kilo. It's just soft cotton there. And I start to punch it, and I feel like I'm doing a good job punching it. And then if I go and try a heavy bag, and I'm like, wow, I know how to do this. I've been punching my light cotton thing at home a long time. And I start punching the heavy bag the same way. Oh, I broke my wrist, or I hurt my fingers, or I hit it at the same angle I've been practicing, and now my wrist folds, or something. My wrists are not strong enough, or I'm not like tensing them. Whatever I'm not doing, I'm doing something wrong. It's the same thing. You want to train in a way that will work in real life. So you don't like train something 1,000 times. I'm good at hitting things with knives because I've been practicing cardboard. And then if something happens, you stab somebody, it doesn't work because it's not cardboard anymore. It's you hit a rib, a bone, like muscle. You go through muscle, hitting a bone. If you hit a leg, you're hitting bone. If you slice across the head, there's a lot of resistance. You hit a skull. So yeah, that's why I started training more like this at a certain point. This is a not wooden, steel pole. This is a hot plastic training knife. If I can do this and hit like that, cut it like this, and hit it at the right angle, and I'm not losing the grip, then I can feel confident that I could deliver the same attack to the forehead. Cut it the same way to the forehead and not lose my grip. Because it's similar, it's hardness, it's hard. This is bone, this is wood, and this is metal. And it's similar to this. You want to test yourself and test what you're doing. It's similar to I thought about this, the US Army has or used to have some kind of a rule of thumb for a projectile's lethality. And it's like, well, if a projectile can penetrate this thickness of this type of wood, it's lethal. It can penetrate the human skull. I think what it can penetrate. If it can penetrate this thickness of this type of wood, then it can also penetrate a human skull, and therefore it's fatal. Something like this. Maybe I put something in the description to something about this. But yeah, they have a test and it involves wood. And like it's if you can penetrate this wood, then it means you can also penetrate a human body and deliver like deadly. It's like lethal. But yeah, so you can use that as a test. You have this type of board. You put it at 80 meters. You want to test your target shot coming down low back. Then you fire at this thing, and then you go look at it. And if the pellets went through this board, it's like, oh, okay, that would go through a human skull, and that's fatal. Like that. It's similar to that. It's like I have a thing that I do. It's like, well, if I can do this at a beat and it's not breaking, my grip is not breaking, I don't lose the knife, then I can stab, and if I hit bone, I know it will work. Yeah. So there's been a lot of talking here. Point is this. Yeah, someone left a comment about just get a piece of cardboard. I don't know, it's a little bit of a weird comment, to be honest with you. It's a little bit weird comment. It's like somebody giving me advice to, I don't know, I'm getting hurt by this. Yeah, I'm getting hurt by this. Just get a piece of cardboard. Just get a piece of cardboard. I don't like when people that are probably not as good as me in something tries to tell me what to do and give me stupid ideas that probably won't work. It's like I'm already doing things that are better than what they're telling me to do. It's like irritating. Just get a piece of cardboard. No, that would actually that's bad advice. There'd be a worse way to train than how I'm training. The way I'm training is the right way. And basically the person is giving me suggestion that's a bad way to train. Just do it's like if you tell me what to do, give me a suggestion. Trying to tell me what to do and give me a suggestion, then it implies that you think that I need your advice to get better, which I obviously don't. And you're just telling me something that I've already been doing, and then I left it behind because it's not the best thing to do. Okay, so I'm not gonna get too irritated at this, but I don't have to do something like that. But I got a little bit irritated in order to calm. It's like just get a piece of cardboard. It would be like, I don't know, if I go to Mike Tyson's Instagram and I see him hitting bags and everything, and then I write just get a pillowcase and put some toilet paper in there. And he reads this like, who's this guy? Who's this guy telling me how to train? And it's like, I don't see any videos on his channel proving he's better than me. Meaning, why should I take him seriously? Or that he's even good enough. I can be like, well, this guy probably has something he can tell me. Like, at least he's like a fellow warrior. It's not like he doesn't suck. Okay. It's a random guy on the internet, anonymous guy on the internet, and they're writing bad suggestions for training. Suboptimal. Get a piece of cardboard and start stabbing. So no, I used to do that, and then I abandoned that because it's not the best way to train. Yeah, so here's the point. I'm not saying it's bad to do. Like less than 3 months ago, I've been stabbing carrying cardboard, including like painting stuff on the cardboard and then stabbing it. So it's like you give me advice that I've already been doing, something I've already been doing first of all, and it's also not the best way to train, and it's also risky. So yeah, I'm not going to be practicing carrying cardboard anymore. Not until I get knife-proof gloves. I already have knife-proof sleeves. But I'm not going to use sharp knives to cut things until at least I have knife-proof gloves and like the sleeves, possibly something else too. Because I can get better, train smart. I can get better without taking the risk. I don't need to have a sharp knife and hit wood with it and practice and risk cutting myself or hurting myself. There is a risk. I got hurt in training before. I had a bookshelf and I had my a utility knife. Not this, but something similar to it. The reason I bought this is because of the training accident. It's something I learned. a hard-learned blood-bought lesson, paid in blood for that lesson, to buy knives that are made in a way that doesn't make it easy for your hand to slide down over the blade if you're delivering stabs. I used a hard-headed utility knife. I can show you that. I have it here on my plate table. This will be a long video. If you're passionate about something, you talk about it, it's easy to drag on. Here's my hard-headed utility knife, and I have it on my plate carrier. This is the knife, the actual knife that I cut myself on the pinky. I still have a scar there. Now, it could have been worse. I could have cut my pinky off. So yeah, I got a wake-up call there. So I got injured myself enough to realize this is not something to do, but not so bad that like I lost my finger or something. But I got enough injured to realize it's not a good idea to do. So I was training, and I have a video on my Instagram. I will upload that to this. After this video, after I upload this video, I will upload that video. And it's an old video. It's not of me getting cut. It's not going to be blood and guts and gore in the video. Nothing for sensitive viewers if you are any watching this. But it's that way I was training when I did get hurt. I haven't been recording all my workouts, obviously, but I started doing that more and more. And I had a bookshelf, and it's some kind of hard board, not solid wood. Maybe it's like MDF board, like wood fiber glued together, like one of those things. It's like it's hard, okay. And I was practicing cutting it, like attacking it with a steel knife, cutting it, and like cutting it, stabbing it. So that's a real test if your techniques will be effective. Because I'm hitting, so am I cutting? Am I creating damage to this wood? If I'm creating damage to this wood, I will be creating damage cutting to the forehead or across the body or whatever. And I know my grip will hold. If I can cut like this across something hard like a wood board, and it's cutting into it, it's easier to cut into a human body, even if there's no clothes over it. It's not as much like hard resistance. It's like mushier. And yeah, human body is not as hard on the surface as wood. So yeah, I used to train like that. And I put up a video after this, like a short video, like it's around 1 minute, where I'm using a bookshelf. It's kind of dark. And I'm practicing delivering stabs, like ice pick stabs, and cutting on this, like a wood board, like a flat wood board here. And I'm practicing cutting and stabbing and everything else, and even like jumping into this stabbing. And I trained like that a number of times before I had a small injury and realized it's not a good thing to do. So what happened was I did something like this. I used this. It's the same exact knife. And I did something like this. Stab like this. Like ice pick stab. I don't remember how I did it. If I did like this, or at an angle, or straight, whatever I did. But an ice pick stab, like this. And my hand slid off the handle, and I cut my pinky. Like under here. And I was lucky. I could have cut my pinky off. You generate a lot of force. So yeah, I learned my lesson. I don't train like that. I don't hit things like that. Now cardboard, at some point in time, I might use a sharp knife and have something like cardboard and cut it. But yeah, I'm not sure. I don't have to do that. And maybe at some point I will get a bag of meat. Like a bag of meat and put it inside of a t-shirt or something and hang it or something like this, and have a steel sharp knife and cut through it, and that's similar to cutting human flesh. So I've seen some people in the martial arts community talk about this. I've seen videos like cut human meat, or like cut meat in your train, whatever. Like some people promote that right into like knife fighting. They promote that you buy some meat, hang it in a bag, and you cut it. And yeah, that would be easier it's easier to cut meat than cutting a wood board. It's easier to cut through meat than stabbing into wood board or cutting into wood board. So it's like I know that my techniques work and I know my grip works, and I don't really need to buy meat and cut it and get bizarre over here. And at least at this point. Yeah, so that's the point. I stopped training like that. And since then, I bought rubber plastic training knives. That I cut myself that way. I bought rubber plastic training knives. Just my bowie knife. And what I like about this, I can have it on the side. And let's say there's a delivery. I forgot, oh, I have a delivery coming. And in Sweden, some delivery companies, if you don't open the door in like 60 seconds and then ring the bell, they leave and they get a text, come pick up your package, this place tomorrow, something like this. So one of the things that I do, I don't answer my door if there's a delivery guy, like ping pong, and I'm waiting for delivery. And I forgot about it, I'm training or something, I forget that I'm waiting for delivery. And the guy comes out, oh yeah, I had a delivery book this time. And I don't open the door like this. It's not illegal, it wouldn't be illegal, but it might make the guy feel uncomfortable. And it's like a common courtesy. If you're opening the door and the first thing they see is like a big knife, that might make them uncomfortable. And yeah, so I like this. I can have it here if I want to, but I can also slide it back, almost in between my two legs. If I'm opening the door, I can get the package, and there's no knife visible. But if